Hi, I'm Paul. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use DaVinci Resolve to get the audio from the video that you're going to upload to YouTube or other internet platforms to the correct loudness level. And there's also a free PDF included. The link will be in the description of this tutorial. So I've got DaVinci Resolve open, and I'm going to include a link in the description of this video where you can go and download the free version of DaVinci Resolve. The name of the company is Blackmagic Design. There's also a professional version which they call DaVinci Resolve Studio. It's a one-time $295 fee as of December 29th, 2023, but you don't need that for what we're doing in this tutorial. There's also a link for the PDF in this tutorial, and it's totally free. You don't have to give out any information. It's just a link. You can download it. You don't need an email address or anything like that. I did create 2 other videos before this for using Audacity. The first video was just to get the Audacity presets and get it set up correctly for getting your audio correct. And then the second video was how to bring the audio from your video into Audacity, get it to the correct level, and then export it as a WAV file. Both of those videos have PDFs that are, again, totally free to download. So what I'll be doing with this video is bringing that WAV file that I created in Audacity into DaVinci Resolve, and we're going to do the final fine tuning of the audio to get it to the correct loudness. I'll put links in the description for Audacity, and Audacity is open source, totally free to use. So once you've downloaded and installed DaVinci Resolve, and the version I'm using right now is 18.6.4, just launch it. There'll be a icon on your desktop, and then create a new project. And I'm not going to get into a lot of the details about it. I'm just going to show you what to do in this tutorial about getting the loudness correct. So once you have DaVinci Resolve open, come up here to Workspace, click on that, come down to where it says Reset UI Layout, and at any point, if you've got your layout messed up, just do this and it resets everything. And you can do that for all the different tabs that's down here at the bottom. So we should be looking at the same thing right now. So right now, all you need to do is come up to File, go down to Project Settings, and then come down to Fairlight. So normally, when you first install DaVinci Resolve, and unless you create a preset, which I'll do in the next video, show you how to do that, you come up here and you can create or modify or delete presets. But the audio sample rate is 44,100. And anything that I use, including Audacity, you want to set that at 48,000. That's going to give you better sounding audio. Down here, the target loudness level is -23 LUFS, which stands for Loudness Units Full Scale. It's an industry standard on how the human ear perceives loudness. -23 is for broadcast television, network television. For internet platforms, you're going to want to change it to -14. And then when you're done, just click Save. This is only going to save this for this project. If you start a new project, it's going to go back to the default settings, which would be the 44,100 and the -23 LUFS. But again, the next video, I'm going to do a tutorial on how to create presets. So the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to drag the video that I created from a previous video about the Fujifilm X-T30 camera and drag that over here. This is the media pool. And then I'm going to bring the audio in that I created using Audacity. And the only thing I want to do is bring this and drag it down into the timeline. But if I drag it down with my mouse, it's bringing the audio with the video, and I don't want this audio because I'm going to use this one right here. So hold your Alt or Option key and then just left mouse click and drag it down, and it's only bringing the video. And now I'm going to bring the audio and just match it up here. And then to link them together, just click on one of them. It doesn't matter which one. Hold your Control or Command key. Left mouse click to select both of them. Right mouse click and then select Link Clips. Now I'm not going to worry about them being synced up right now. I mean, they should be, but sometimes you have to do a little shifting back and forth. I'm just going to get rid of the silence in the beginning of the clip. Just trim that off. If you want to see, you can see that the clip is way beyond the entire window here on the timeline. If you come up here to this little icon, it says Full Extend Zoom, click on that, and you'll see everything. And it doesn't matter how many video or audio clips you have, how many different tracks, everything. If by clicking that icon, it'll fit everything onto it. Some things will be more compressed than others, but so I want to. That's just how it is. And you can use your Alt or Option key, hold that down, and roll your mouse wheel forward and backwards, and it will extend it. If you hold the Shift key, you can make the clip on the track larger or smaller. If you hold a Control or Command key, you can shift left to right. And now I want to start an end point because you have to tell DaVinci Resolve where the clip begins and where it ends. So to get the clip back to the beginning of the very beginning of the track, just left mouse click inside here, and I believe it's the backspace key, and it'll bring it all the way to the beginning. Press the I key for in, drag the playhead to the end, press the Out key, and then you can use this little slider. See, it's off a little tiny bit. I'm not sure why that is, but again, I'm not worried about things being synced up right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right mouse click, unlink these, and drag this over to the end. Click on them again, hold Control, right mouse click, link clips, and it's at the end, and I'll just hit the O for out. And why doesn't it want to do it? It's always something. Let me put it back on the, there we go. All the software has little glitches. So I'm not worried about anything as far as being, like I said, being synced up, but I do want to trim some of this back. I want to get some of the silent part off of it. And I'll bring the playhead here, but and then that's good. So right now we're in the Edit tab. I don't use the media or the cut. I just use Edit. If you want to make the window a little bit larger for editing, you can come up here and click this little shrink icon, and it'll extend it. The next thing we want to do is go into Fairlight, and Fairlight is the audio editing section. And I'm going to be following along with the PDF that I created. so that you can come back and look at this. If you need to watch the video, and you can use the PDF to follow along. So the next thing you're going to do once you come into Fairlight, mixer and meters should be selected. Come all the way over to the right and click on Inspector. The next thing is we need to make a few changes. And if you set a preset, sometimes this will take it, sometimes it won't. But right here, there's a little 3-dot icon. Make sure lock metering to transport is selected. Click on it again. Absolute scale should be selected. And then BS 1770-4. The reason these are already selected is because I'd already used it and I didn't reset everything. So this is what you're going to want saved. And the lock metering to transport, if you want to play the clip from beginning to end and then have it loop back and then reset to sample everything again, you can come over here and click this loop. So once the playhead reaches the end of the clip, it'll go back to the beginning and start playing, and it's going to reset everything. And I'll show you that in a second. So that's why you want lock, which we're not going to do because I'll explain that in a second. Absolute scale is going to show you the loudness level on this meter right here, and we set it to -14. So once you click absolute scale, it should say -14. If it doesn't, if it says -23 or something else, you're going to need to come back over into File, into Project Settings, and change that. This BS 1770-4 is the latest logarithm that DaVinci Resolve is using to calculate the loudness level. So you want the latest one, which right now that's this one. The other thing to change over here under order, it's processing in this order: effects, dynamics, and equalizer. Just click on that, come down to the bottom, and as far as I know, as I understand it, you always want to process the equalizer first, then the effects, and then the dynamics. And now we're going to come over here to the equalizer. So this blue line over here is the video. This is the audio. And it says A1. You can rename this video or the audio, give it whatever name you want. But over here, it's always going to have this A1 designation for the top audio track, and then there could be A2, A3, A4. So that you'll always see that right here. Double click down here on equalizer, and it's going to bring the equalizer up. And this is basically my only complaint about DaVinci Resolve, is that the panels are so dark. But I can't figure out any way to change that. So I already have a preset for the equalizer. And what you're going to see on the PDF, it's going to have these settings. The reason these two are off is I haven't saved it. Again, I didn't have it set right. So you want to make sure all these are red. When you first open up the equalizer, band 1 and band 2 will be grayed out. Just click on them. So this is the low frequencies here. This is the high frequencies. This is just a basic setup. This will work probably good enough. I'm going to do another video after this about how to fine tune the equalizer for every time you record or for your voice to get rid of distortion. But this should be a good starting point. So if you click on this little drop down, these are filters. This is called a low shelf, a bell filter, a high shelf, and this is the high pass filter. So in other words, this is cutting off the lower frequencies. So if there's any humming or rumbling or low frequency sounds, you can adjust it by using this knob. And if you can't fine tune it to the correct level, you can just click inside of here and drag left to right. Can't type inside this for some reason. So we want to have the high pass. In other words, it's going to cut off the low frequencies. Whatever frequency you set. Depending on your voice, it could be 70 hertz to 100 hertz. But it's letting all the higher frequencies pass through. This next band 2 and band 5 will look like this. It'll have the low shelf and the high shelf filters. Change these to the bell curve filters. And then adjust it to 250 hertz. Band 3, 1 kilohertz. Band 4, 2 kilohertz. Band 5, 4 kilohertz. And band 6, this is the low pass filter. So it's letting all the lower frequencies be heard, but the higher frequencies it's cutting off. Some people suggest 12,000, others suggest 15,000. It's just a personal preference. The gain set to -3 dB for everything for band 2 to band 5, and the Q factor set that to 5. And that's just how far this Q factor, how far the frequency range, how far it's going to spread across that frequency range. And I've just set it to 5. You can probably set it higher. It'll just be a narrower frequency range. And that's for getting rid of distortion. But this should be a really good starting point. You can also set this as a preset by coming up here and clicking the 3-dot. No, you can't. This is different. This panel is different than the others. If you want to come over here and click the plus sign, and then, so I'm just going to update this, or you can create a new one. That means the next time you can also reset it by clicking this little curled arrow with the plus sign in the middle, and it sets it back the way it was. Use this drop down, and I've already got the preset, so you can save for different microphones. You can save it as a preset. I can do another. I'll do that in the video when I talk about the equalizer. When you're done, just click the X. You don't have to do anything else. And if you'll notice right here, you can see basically the equalizer, the graph. And as long as it's blue and not gray, if it's gray, it's been deselected. It's not active. The other thing you want to do is come under bus and click this little plus sign, and we're going to go to dynamics, and we're going to add a limiter. And the limiter is for keeping this true peak level. You want this at -1.7 dB or greater, which means we're going to set this ceiling limit at -2. And you can also type in this one. This allows you to type into it. Or you can just click inside. No, so you can't drag. You have to type it in or just use the dial, the control knob. So we're setting it to -2 because we don't want it to go any higher than -1.7, like 1.5, 1.0, because that's where distortion will come in. So we're going to use this to keep it from going any higher than -2 decibels. This we're going to adjust in a few minutes. So for right now, we can just drag this out of the way. If it closes, if you click on something else and it closes, just come over here under bus 1 where you see where it says limiter, hover your mouse over it, and you'll see the little control icon in the center. Just click on that and it brings it back. The other thing we want to do is, and it's hard to see, but over here on the left where you see where it says bus 1, slowly bring your mouse pointer down and you'll see where it splits. Drag this down. Integrated should be selected. Click on loudness history to turn it on. And then you can drag down more to spread this graph out. You can see where it says -14 and then -17. So what we're going to do is we're going to here's the rewind button. And this is the same thing. You can hold your Alt or Option key and roll your mouse wheel back towards you, and this will make it smaller so you can see everything. Ideally what you should do is play it all the way through, because what's happening, this loudness level, it's taking an average across the entire audio track to calculate the loudness. But what I usually do is just the first 30 seconds or so, just start playing it. And as we play it, it's going to start drawing a line across here. And I know this because of doing it so many times. Right now, it's going to be around -17. We want to get this somewhere around -15. If it's higher than -14, YouTube or other internet platforms are going to push the audio level down, and it can cause your audio to be degraded a little bit. If we can get this around -15, you'll be somewhere around -1 to -2 decibels, or -1 or -2 decibels when we check it on YouTube, and I'll show you how to do that, which would be just about perfect. And as it's playing, you're also going to see this graph right here, and you're going to see a number right here, and it should say around -15. If this true peak level goes into the red, you're getting close to -1.7 decibels. If this will be blue until it starts getting to -14, and then it'll change to yellow. And anything, like when you get around -13 LUFS, it'll turn red, and we don't want it red. Ideally, we want this to be yellow or blue. So I'm going to start playing this, and this is the play button, this is the stop button, and when it starts playing, you're going to see this thing start drawing over here. If you don't see the line as you're playing, hold the Alt or Option key and roll your mouse wheel, and it'll extend it so you'll be able to see it drawing. So just plus, and I don't have the audio on, because if you know your audio sounds good after hearing it when you've either you play it right after you record it or after you bring it into Audacity, you don't really need to hear it, because we're looking, this is visual. We don't care about, so I mean, you can turn it on, but so there's no background noise. I'm leaving it off. So you can see these levels, and right now it's at 16. And again, you can hardly see it over here. So hold the Alt and Option key, roll your mouse wheel away from you, and you can see as it's drawing. And it's changing because it's taking an average. So we want this higher than that. And again, you can play it for a minute or two, but from my experience, if you play the first 15 to 30 seconds, that's probably good enough. So to get this a little higher, so you can click on the track, and with the inspector selected, you can see there's some options over here. There's a dialogue leveler, which we're not going to have to use. If you use Audacity, you don't have to do the dialogue leveler. This voice isolation is only with the paid version, but it's great if you have a lot of background noise, if you're outside or in some kind of an area where there's background noise and you want it that pushed to the back, this works incredible, and it's worth it. If this was the only thing the paid version did, the professional studio version, it's worth the $295. But we don't have that problem right now. So what we're going to do, I'm going to turn this input level up to 3 dB. And because we're not letting this play to the end of the clip where it loops back, where I told you about this lock metering, where if it did get to the end and went back to the beginning, it would reset everything to take a new sample. But we're not doing that. So select reset and then start, rewind it, and then start playing it again. And it's going to write over it. Now you can see it's too high. And you can see the meter starting to peak out. So we're going to want to turn this down. Let it play a little bit, because that's right on the edge. So I'm going to stop it, hit reset, start, bring this down. I'm going to bring it down to 2.5. Rewind it and start playing it again. And we're still a little too high because it's right on the edge. So I might want to turn it down just a little bit more. So I'm going to bring it down to 2.2. Reset, start, rewind it, play. And we're trying to get it so it's just about in the right between -14 and -17. And again, you need to let it play a little bit so it starts taking the average. And now we're at -15. So that's where I would leave it. And again, you can let it play through the rest of the video. To make sure, but it's staying pretty consistent. And I know just from doing this that this is good. So at this point, we could come over here to deliver and we can export it. So I've got a this is where this is set up a location on your drive where you want your videos to be published to. I create a separate folder for each video, and then in each video I put a I have it set so I have a folder, and I call one of them. So this is the folder with the video name. Then I'll put one folder called assets, one audio, and one video. So I'll publish the videos to this. When I extract the audio, I'll leave it over here. And assets could be pictures, thumbnails, notes, anything else. So everything is kind of organized. So I'll just call this test. And then you can click on YouTube and just go ahead and click add to render queue. It'll pop up over here, and then just click render all. If you prefer a different video editor, but you just want the audio, just come up here, drag this all the way over until you see audio only. Then come down here and click on audio. This bit depth 24 is good. I like 32, but it probably doesn't matter, but it'll just give you better quality. You can also change, select if you want an MP4, a WAV file, or an MP3. I prefer WAV. It does say it's the output track is stereo, but I recorded this in audio. Click add to render queue, and now it'll only export the audio, and then you can bring that into your, if you prefer a different video editor, you can bring that audio into whatever you're using. So there's one other thing that I want to show you, and that is how you can check the audio level, the loudness level for your videos. So, and you can do this on any YouTube video. You can't do it on Rumble. I don't know about Odyssey, but inside your video or any video you're looking at, right mouse click, and the video doesn't have to be playing. Select Stats for Nerds, and then you want to see this volume normalized. If you drag the slider for the volume, you'll see this changing. This first 100% is the slider from 0 to 100. The second one is also changing, and it should be 100. If it's less than 100, this content loudness will be a plus value, a positive number, not a negative. And right here is the decibel level. So mine is minus 1.2, which I believe is pretty much perfect. Anything between minus 2.5 and 0 dB is excellent. Ideally, it would be 0, but that's when you're at minus 14 LUFS and you're right on the edge. So anything between basically minus 3 and 0 dB is good, but I would prefer it to be somewhere between minus 2 and minus 1 dB. So that means the loudness level will be correct. If you watch YouTube videos and one video you adjust the loudness on your speakers or for your headphones to get it to a comfortable level, you go to another one and the audio is really low. If you upload it too low to YouTube or these other platforms, they're not going to boost the audio level. They just leave it. And that's why sometimes if you'll adjust your volume, and some videos are really loud and some are really low. And that's because they don't have, if they're too low, and you'll see it up here. Some professional YouTube content creators or channels will have like minus 7, minus 10. I've seen as much as minus 20. And even when you turn your speakers all the way up, it's hard to hear. So anyways, again, PDFs are included in all 3 videos, and links. I'll put links in this video for the 2 YouTube tutorials that I created for Audacity. And then the next videos will be about configuring presets in DaVinci Resolve and using the Equalizer to fine tune and try to, the audio to get rid of any distortion, that you may have in your audio. So I hope this helped, and thanks for watching.